Welcome to the Security Operative Podcast. This is Tony O'Brien of Security Operative Consultancy Services, here to share with you my perspectives from the world of security and risk management. Enjoy the episode. Howdy guys, and welcome to episode number 24 of Diary of a Security Consultant. Slightly different this week, I suppose. We're changing up the format as I announced across social media a couple of weeks back. We're going to have some interviews and stuff, but this is a slightly different format, I suppose, in that I want to give people a quick update on what it is we've been doing. You might have noticed that we missed last week. We didn't have any article. We didn't have any video up. And you also might have noticed that the last one or two articles and videos are actually missing from the website. So this episode, I suppose, is a bit about why that is and what has happened. To give a bit of an update on what we've been doing, last 2 weeks have been our busiest ever. I suppose we've had a couple of those 80, 90-hour work weeks that I often preach against, but that are sometimes necessary every now and again. We have been running over the last 2 weeks. We've ran what I consider to be one of the best training courses in the country, actually. It's our, for ICSE, we ran our Authorised Officer program, which is a level 6 program for one of ICSE's main clients. Brilliant program, brilliant bunch of guys, but takes up a lot of time. We've also ran 2 QQI level 6 conflict management programs for them for different frontline staff, public sector and private sector. We've had an ongoing protective services detail 24 hours a day for the last couple of weeks. So we've had some guys on that. Some of our hotel clients have been trialing our new COVID safe, COVID secure risk management program that we've designed for them. It's an online program that they can put their staff through, kind of a cross between standard and training for their employees. We're trying to get the balance between when hotels open back up between COVID compliance and not forgetting the security element as well. So what our clients were finding was the COVID training was very much COVID influenced, and the security and general health and safety stuff was being forgotten. So we've put together a program, risk management program, which has been trialed this week. We've been developing some winter operational plans for some of our man guarding clients, supporting with things like welfare ideas, online training for their employees over the Christmas, operational support contingencies for poor weather and things like that over the winter. We've had one PSA 28 audit for one of our clients, and we're preparing another client for a PSA 31 audit. We're trialing a new onboarding efficiency program for one of our UK clients, which is working out very, very well to support them with onboarding clients both in the UK, onboarding staff, both in the UK and in Ireland. So as you can see, we've had a pretty mental 2 weeks with all that crammed into kind of two working weeks. In addition to keeping on top of my own, obviously, training and life outside of work, I suppose. And the reason for this, I've kind of subtitled this one, gratitude and humility lesson for me in terms of cybersecurity awareness. It's now Tuesday night, it's late Tuesday night, I'm just in. We have, like I said, had an exceedingly busy week, and Sunday morning was generally going to be family day. I tried to spend that with my son and my partner. Every week I try to put Sundays aside. That's our day. Woke up Sunday morning to find that my website had been hacked. And I suppose that for me was a lesson in both humility and in gratitude. So 9 a.m. Sunday morning, trying to get a hold of my hosting company, trying to figure out what might have happened, etc., etc. I have to say, my hosting company was basically useless over the whole thing. Their 24-hour support line got back to me at 11:30 on Monday. So, sorry, I said it's Tuesday now. It's actually Monday night, late Monday night when I'm recording this. But I suppose why I'm saying gratitude, and I really want to take this opportunity to express gratitude to 2 people. My first port of call for cybersecurity, as always, is Mr. Justin Casey and Elysium Risk Management here in Dublin. Justin, as a former colleague of mine, somebody who I consider a friend and a good friend, and he's one of these guys that can turn his hand to anything, and he's right now specializing in the cybersecurity element of things. He's always been my go-to guy when I have questions about that sort of stuff. Got on to Justin. This was 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning, and within 2 hours, Justin had come off his own operational task that he was working on, gone on to mine, and come up with a solution for me. Found the root cause and come up with a solution. So I want to express my gratitude, first of all, to Justin. And if I could say to anyone who has cybersecurity needs, looking for cybersecurity audit, penetration testing, OSINT stuff, or OSINT training, which is a really, really fantastic strength of his and an area that I know he's developing. Justin's the guy to go to, and I'll link his company down below. I have to say, he's always done right by me, and he's a really, really highly intelligent guy in those fields. My second port of call then was onto my web designer, Christy. Christy works at a company called Butterfly Media. He's always done my websites. He does a brilliant job with the websites. He's so responsive to what you need. He's a real understanding of what it is. And again, 9 o'clock Sunday morning, I sent him a message to say this was happened, and he was back to me in 10 minutes. And by 12 o'clock, 3 hours after this issue was occurred, my website was back up online and completely up to date, which is fantastic. But as I said to you, it was a lesson for me in gratitude. One, I'm very, very grateful to both of those people. And I'm very, very grateful to have a network like that I can call on at 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning that just came back with no expectation of reciprocity or anything like that. They came back because they're just genuine professionals in their field, I suppose, you know. The second point that I made on that I suppose it was a lesson in humility for me. At the moment, I was listening to and talking about and writing an article about the personal risk assessments, you know, doing personal risk assessments on your career, on your skill set, on your knowledge base and stuff like that. I've done a lot of work over the last 3 or 4 years in developing my own knowledge base and my own skill set in areas like information security, protective intelligence, the intelligence processes, open source intelligence gathering and things like that. And I'm by no means an expert, but I can do enough to keep on top of things. But one of the areas, I suppose, that it really, really showed me where I still have a large gap is in the cybersecurity area, you know. And it's something that it's identified to me that I probably have a little bit of overconfidence in. I'm quite diligent with my website from talking to the two experts, like I said, that I brought in. The issue, the breach that I had was nothing to do with me, and it was quite a low level one. I had all my security up to date, etc., doing all the right things, all that sort of stuff. I had contingencies and a plan in place. No information was lost, etc. And I'm going to see if I can get this right. It was some sort of they refer to it as a cross-site scripting, XSS. They lost me at that point. Some vulnerability, unknown vulnerability in a plugin that I was using affected not just me, but lots of other people. All my information was safe, all my clients' information was safe. They just managed to redirect people from my website to a different website before they could get to my website. But it opened up, I suppose, an area of vulnerability or an area of loss of control. There was nothing worse for me than going and opening up that on Sunday morning and realize, oh my God, what do I do? And not having the knowledge base within myself to do it. So it's something I put on my own development plan now to work on. But I suppose I had my own little bit of Dunning-Kruger, which I've written about before, you know, thinking I was safer and more secure than I actually was based on a limited amount of knowledge. So it's something I'm going to work on myself over the next while, but I really was grateful that I had those people that I could call on, and also that I have those people now that can show me, look, I can go to those people and say, look, where do I need to start for the basics? And I can build my own skill set and stuff like that. Hopefully to a point, not where I don't need networks like that, because I'll always be grateful for that, but to a point where I suppose I'm not completely dependent on them, and I don't get that loss of control feeling. I can do the basics myself. So it's certainly something that I'm looking at myself. Like I said, open source intelligence, protective intelligence, information security, ISO standards, etc. I've done a lot of work on upskilling myself in addition to the physical security stuff over the last number of years. For me, this gap was the worst type of gap. It was a gap that I didn't know I had, which for me is the worst type. And I didn't realize that I had this vulnerability until something happened, which shows, I suppose, a gap in the planning on my perspective. But now I know I have it. I've gone back. I was writing an article. It'll probably be out before this video, actually. The article was based around the personal risk assessments, and looking at your own skill set and knowledge base, looking at where you want to get or the standard that you want to set, and then backing that up. how you conduct personal pestle assessment, personal SWOT assessments, upgrading your personal development plan, setting goals and objectives for your training and your development. And I suppose as I look back in the days preceding this, I was looking back and I was saying, yeah, look, you've really come on in open source intelligence, you've come on in physical security, you've come on in your own physical health, you've come on your own physical mental health, you've come on in terms of the equipment that you've invested in, you've come on in terms of your business acumen, and I was identifying goals for all those sort of things, and then just got blindsided by this one area and skills gap. So in terms of humility, yes, I've been gained a little bit of humility about it, or probably didn't need it. It wasn't a shock to the ego in any way, so it's just something I didn't know I needed. But also gratitude. I'm grateful that some guy in Gabon has showed this to me, so now I can go and fix it without any real harm being done. And I was lucky. I won't say lucky. I was how would I say it? I was happy, I suppose, that I had a contingency plan in place for this, that I had looked at this in the past as part of my contingency plan. Look, if this happens, then this is what I'm going to do. But there was still that shock factor. I had a communication plan for clients. I had a recovery plan. I had the backups. I have all my work backed up. So there was nothing going to be lost and nothing going to be breached. I have the website quite well compartmentalized, I think. Now I'm having an expert looking at it. But I suppose one of the lessons I learned was to do my due diligence on the people who I have engaged to do these things. Like I said, I've gone with a very large hosting provider who completely let me down. 3 or 4 months ago, I engaged somebody who was referred by the hosting supplier to review the website, and it gave them a clean bill of health from a security point of view. And I'm not blaming them. I don't know enough about it to blame them. And I had gone with a WordPress site, which I understood to be one of the more reliable platforms and secure platforms. But it just goes to show from talking to the experts afterwards that there are other sites that are out there, or other platforms or other ways of doing things that I wasn't aware of. It's something I'm going now to invest in. I suppose it's something that I didn't know that I needed, and now I do. But it was a bad time to get it. And again, a lesson in there, as I was thinking about it this morning, a lesson in there in criminal intent. When was this launched against me and multiple, probably thousands of other websites across the world? It was launched at 8 a.m. on a Sunday morning, when a criminal will know that you have very little access to people like your hosting provider, your 24/7 hosting provider, would have very little access to things like cybersecurity support, incident management. If you didn't have a plan in place, or if I didn't have that network, or if I didn't have a really great website developer who was able to get hold of at 9 a.m. on a Sunday morning or 10 a.m. on a Sunday morning, I would have been in a lot of trouble, probably similar to what a lot of businesses were around the world that might have been using a similar plugin or whatever it was that went wrong, So, it just goes to show that criminal mindset and the value of having those plans in place. So even though I had that little of a loss of control, once I engaged the network, once I engaged the experts, I was then able to put my own plan in place to go, okay, clients, look, this has happened, the website will be down. There's not an issue for you guys, but just in case, go do this, reset your passwords, etc. People like that, I was able to contact them very, very quickly. I had a plan in place. And I was back up and running. I was talking to some other people about today, and I was kind of kicking myself a little bit that it happened to me. And they were saying, to be fair, to have that happen at 9 o'clock on a Monday morning and to be back up and running is not bad. And I'm not taking the credit for any of that. It was down to the 2 gentlemen who helped me. But I suppose my plan, the business continuity plan, the disaster recovery plan that I had in place contributed to, well, actually smoothly getting back. So it goes to show the value of those plans that you don't think you need until you need. I remember as a one-man or one-person business who engages freelancers as I need them, I remember thinking to myself at the time, developing a business continuity plan, developing an incident management plan, thinking, what am I doing? What am I doing? But when that kind of shock hit me and the surprise hit me, it was nice to have that plan there. It was very much nice to have that checklist that I could go back to, that I had spent a lot of time when I wasn't under stress planning, because like I said, I'd just done a 90-hour work week on top of a previous 90-hour work week, and this happens on a Sunday morning. So that's the value of those plans and checklists, I suppose, as you go back over them. And that wasn't the topic of this. The topic of this was gratitude and humility, I suppose. But I suppose it really did show me the the value of those plans, even as a small operation, to spend the time when you're not under pressure to look at those things and plan for what you're going to do. And now it's showing me, okay, this incident has happened. Now I have some time, not a lot of time, granted, but now I have some time to work on that skills gap that I've now identified. Will cybersecurity be a thing that I'll need a lot of in the future? Possibly not, but it's good to have a knowledge base in it, both for me and for my clients as I move forward. So what am I doing with this experience? Chalking it up as a learning experience. It's something I can go to clients and go, look, I did all this stuff. I had all my updates. I had all my security in place, and still this happened to me. So, don't be under the illusion that it can't happen to you. Does it show vulnerability as a security consultant? Perhaps, but I don't think there's any business out there that can say that they're 100% secure, regardless of what you put in place, particularly not small businesses. So am I annoyed about it? Yes. But am I damn glad it happened now in that way, when I had the support structure, the friends, the business contacts, and the and the plans in place to manage it? Absolutely, yeah. So that's episode 24. Like I said, the format will change over the next couple of weeks. I'm going to do one or two more of the webinar based ones, doing kind of knowledge based ones, and I've got some really good guests lined up. I start interviews this week, but I'm not going to actually roll out the interviews for another kind of 2 or 3 weeks. I want to give myself a little bit of a head start on it. But got some really good guests, both nationally and internationally, lined up. The goal of bringing on guests, I suppose, is to bring on people from all sectors of the security industry, and the goal is to help new starters recently, or really, I suppose, people who might be getting into the industry or new in the industry or developing in the industry, whatever that sector of the industry is, whether it's loss prevention, whether they're in the door industry, the event security industry, the close protection industry, considering becoming a consultant, looking to get into security management, looking to start their own company, to bring on people who've done that, to give their advice to people. To new people or people who might be in the game a while but considering a change. So that's the general goal. But like I said, I'm really happy with the people who said yes so far. I haven't asked anyone yet who said no, which is really good. But somebody did mention to me, am I going to keep up the more information-based ones where I'm giving out information? Absolutely, I am. So for me, I want to end up with a thank you to Justin Casey from Elysian Risk Management. I'm going to link him in the show notes for this. And I also want to say thank you to Christy from Butterfly Media. And if you ever need anything in the cybersecurity area, Justin's the guy to talk to you. If you need anything in the website design building, I can highly recommend Christy as well. So until next week, this has been episode 24 with a large dollop of humility and a large dollop of gratitude and a large dollop of learning. Talk to you all next week, guys. Thank you. Thank you for listening to the Security Operative Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show and got some value. If you'd like to follow more of our activity, you can find us on any of our social channels at Security Operative Consultancy Services. See you next time.